Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Academics Conference 2025, and it's going to be an exciting day, so hold on to your hats, as they say. I'm the Vice President of, a Vice President of the Institute of Instructional Engineers. Also done some research and currently work in practice, so I'm understanding AI from both perspectives. Before we get on to some opening remarks, I'll just go through the housekeeping of the online rules and processes, just to remind you about copyright to the institution's best knowledge. The copyright permission has been provided, all material shown, and this broadcast is therefore presented in all good faith. If copyright holder believes permission has not been forthcoming, then the relevant item will be removed or by agreement an appropriate acknowledgement provided to the company recording. We have, I believe, ask a question at any time using the Q&A feature. We are in Zoom, not Teams, with the speaker's name if the question is addressed for the specific speaker. Also, please put in anything into the chat box and we'll be able to pick it up with the events team. Do reach out to the events team if you have any technical issues, either through email or through the chat box, and hopefully all presenters themselves will not have any technical issues, but we are online. A recording of the presentations will be made available on the iStructE website in the next few weeks. It takes time to process all these things. So just some opening remarks for myself, and I'll keep this very light. AI is with us, and what does it mean, not only in the academic world, but to future students and papers, research, but also the profession? I hear about it a lot, and it's spoken constantly as people grapple with what does it mean. I read the World Economic Forum reports, and in 2025, AI information and also disinformation is one of the critical risks for the future. I'm also, from an academic perspective, wonder about its role in original thought towards research and question its role in processes. I'm equally told by the next generation of the profession that AI chatbots' future employment prospects are greater than theirs. Are these things true? I'm pleased to see these 3 sessions. They're great questions to debate for the iStructE and its membership and the Hive Mind itself. So please do ask questions, which we will be monitoring, and each session will have time to discuss, and we will be timekeeping as best as possible to keep us all on track. Enjoy the day. Next slide. So the day will be broken up into 3 sessions. We've got a time slot from 10:30 to 11:50, with a lunch break at 11:50 to 12:30. 12:30 to 13:45 is the second session, Navigating Machine Learning and AI. We will have another quick 10-minute break, and then the final session, which will start just before 2 o'clock and last roughly an hour, is the discussion forum. And then we'll finish up with closing comments, and the conference will aim to end at 3 o'clock. However, if there's big discussion, I'm sure there will be some further opportunity for questions. Right. I'm going to introduce session 1, the reuse skills gap. We're going to have Yasmin speaking first, an associate professor at UCL. She's an academic working on the resilient and sustainable built environments, both at building and urban scales, and at use of Comfort Health Nexus. She's currently the chair of the earthquake engineering field under EFIT, and works with the UK's Institution of Structural Engineers, where she's led and advised on several post-disaster reconnaissance missions. Sounds awesome. She's the co-chair of UNESCO Disaster Risk Reduction Resilience Engineering, working on holistic risk resilience of infrastructures, and her research is focused on traditional vernacular buildings, post-disaster recovery, structural rehabilitation of existing buildings, moisture, indoor microbiome, and sustainable built environment resilience under the coalescing of geophysical and climate hazards. So that sounds brilliant. Then we're going to be followed with John and Richard, who will be doing a joint presentation together. John has been a consulting engineer since 1988 and became chartered in 1995. He's also a fellow of the institution. He's worked on a diverse range of building structures, And John began lecturing part-time at the University in Sheffield in 2007 and has set up the Integrated Design Project and reuse of existing structures modules. Recently, his focus has shifted towards setting up his own practice, and he is actively involved with iStruct and works with the Yorkshire Panel, Education and Nominations Committee, as well as Council. Richard is a senior university lecturer at the University of Sheffield and has been working in the structural engineering department. Prior to this, he spent 3 years at the Structural and Architecture School at Nottingham Trent University, and of course, that's 17 years as a structural engineer at Arup in London and has international experience with Bangkok. And finally, our final speaker will be Andy Yates of the Engineer Reuse Collective. He's a co-founder of that group and is a practicing structural engineer focused on action and empowerment to increase the reuse in the existing built environment. Andy was previously a director at Webb & Yates Engineers and worked on a wide range of retrofit, rehabilitation and refurbishment projects. He is passionate about minimising waste, maximising reuse, and ensuring that engineers we capitalise on our skills to address the climate emergency. So 4 brilliant speakers, and I'll open the floor to Yasmin.